Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Punk's Dead, SLC Punk 2. So, a little while back I reviewed the first SLC Punk from 1998, and that was a first time watch for me, and I really enjoyed that movie. I thought it was a extremely solid movie. I was a huge fan. So I was looking for something short to watch, and this was on my list on Tubi, because I was like, hey, I like the first one. There's a sequel. I'm a sucker for sequels. I gotta check it out eventually. So yeah, I just randomly, decided to check it out because I was looking for something short to watch, and I'm telling you what, I was a fan of this movie. I thought it was a very solid sequel, and I enjoyed my time watching it. So yeah, that's my overall opinion. I dug it. I thought it was the bee's knees. So with that being said, I'm going to jump right into the plot summary for you all. So this movie centers around Bob's son. We realize, before Bob passed away, his girlfriend, she didn't know, but she was pregnant. So Bob has a son, and he's a teenager, and he's kind of like an outsider. He's not a punk. He's kind of gothic, but not like a stereotypical goth. He's his own deal. He dresses like a vampire from the 1600s, and he's really like melancholy all the time. He's just uninterested with everything, and he's like straight edge. He doesn't party. He's just like a quiet to himself type of guy. So anyways, he's kind of going through it. He never really bothered with trying to have relationships and stuff, and he happened to have this short-lived relationship. He was kind of falling in love for a sec, and he totally got his heart broken. So he's a mess. Plus he's just dealing with other internal stuff, like he never knew his father, and he's friends with some of his father's friends, and there's kind of this image that he was always told that he almost has to live up to. Everyone thinks like they're like worried about him all the time. They think like he's gonna pass away, and like people in his family have had drinking problems and stuff. So like in the movie, he's flipping out because he's heartbroken. So he had never drank or done drugs before. He just like left home. He's with his friends, drinking, partying. Everyone is super concerned. His mom is concerned, and his mom and some characters from the first movie are trying to track him down to make sure he's safe, because they're worried because Bob passed away in the first one. They think something bad's gonna happen to him. They're always worried about him. So anyways, yeah, it's just that's like kind of like what Ross is dealing with, and the actual story is, like I said, he is heartbroken, so he's drinking, doing drugs, and his friends, Penny and Crash, they're all just like driving. It's kind of like a little road trip movie. They're driving to this punk show. So that's the whole goal, is they're trying to get to this punk show, and they take this like crazy winding road because Ross wants to go on this like scenic mountain route, and they're like on their trip. The concert is just in like the third act. It's like the climax, and a bunch of stuff goes down there. But throughout their trip, they meet random strangers. They meet Penny's dad, and he's like abusive and stuff, and they're just kind of going through it. Their car breaks down. Just a bunch of crazy stuff happens, and they kind of, they kind of talk out their problems and issues with each other, and there's like relationships within the group and all that good stuff. So I feel like that was a very long-winded plot summary, and I kind of trailed off a little bit, but yeah, that's my plot summary for you all. Hopefully that made sense. But anyways, now that I've given you all the little plot summary, I'm gonna get into the overall review. And something that I liked is the fact that, okay, so many sequels like this where they come out so much later, they're a complete letdown. This sequel came out almost 20 years after the first movie, which can be a serious red flag. Nowadays we see that every other week. Some like beloved movie that never had a sequel is getting a sequel 30, 40 years later, and it's not the same, and it's like too little too late. But this movie, even though it did come out so much later and it had more of like a limited release, I feel like it was solid, and I feel like it definitely captured the same tone as the original, where it was like this coming of age story of a young individual and these young individuals, and there was like a lot of family drama. Like in the first one, Matthew Lillard's character and Bob, they go to like Bob's dad's house, and Bob has all these family problems and stuff. Like all the teenage characters in this, they're dealing with family problems and stuff. So I feel like it really like it had the same tone as the original movie, and even though it came out so much later, I feel like it still felt like a genuine like continuation of the first movie. Something else that I liked, and this kind of goes with that point, the point of the movie actually feeling like a sequel and capturing the tone of the original movie. There was a lot of returning cast members from the original. So Devon Sawa, who played Sean in the original, the kid who had the LSD in his pocket and went crazy and tripped, and then he was like on the streets, he's in this. Heroin Bob is in this. The actor's name is Michael A. Gawargian. I probably butchered that, I'm sorry, but he kind of narrates the movie, and he is dead, so he like narrates the movie from the afterlife, which might turn some people off or like take them out of the movie, but I actually liked it, and it was cool to see him. And then James Duvall, who played John the Mod, he's in this. He was in I know him too from Donnie Darko. He was the guy where it was like he had like the like bloody eyeball and stuff in the movie theater. So he plays this like he owns this like black metal shop, and he's like super buff now. He's in fantastic shape. But it's funny because he was like the uptight kind of preppy mod, and now he's just like hardcore black metal guy. So yeah, it was cool to see there was like a couple more returning cast members from the first movie, but those are the most notable ones that I wanted to mention. So they played smaller roles, but I liked all their characters, and I kind of liked like how they turned out. Like it was like interesting. Like they were still the same, but they were kind of opposite, like the opposite of how they were when they were young, which happens. Except Heroin Bob, he was like the same, because I mean he's like pretty much like a ghost or something. So yeah, he was like exactly the same. Um, and then I kind of touched on this, but I just want to, give it some more props. I really liked Heroin Bob as the narrator. He didn't narrate the entire movie. There would just be like brief segments where he would explain story elements, explain characters. He would explain characters from the past movies, and they would have clips from the original movie, which I liked. And then he would explain different musical things, like when they're talking about how John the Mod is super into black metal now, they kind of talk about the black metal music genre a little bit, which I thought was really interesting, because that's a really interesting music genre. Like, that's the hardest core metal genre. I'm not a metal fan personally, but my brother's a big metal fan, so I know, some of the history of black metal, I guess. But those fools are like burning churches and killing people. Like, it's nuts. It's very interesting. So it was cool that Heroin Bob kind of gave the like the history and explanation of black metal. And then there's like one instance where he kind of describes every single subgenre of punk that there is. And I don't know, I thought that it was really cool. It was like I don't know, it's an entertaining movie, but you might just learn something. So I don't know. And the way they did the little kind of the little Heroin Bob segments is they had some like animation in there, and there was like a lot of like photos and stuff. It was cool. It was like a nice change of pace, and it didn't like ruin the flow of the movie. So I liked all the stuff with Heroin Bob narrating the movie. And there was like one instance where he's like, I gotta take a smoke break. Every movie should have a smoke break. I thought that was fun. I really liked that. So one of Ross's friends in this is Crash, and he's played by Machine Gun Kelly. And I just wanted to talk about that for a sec, because, he's not like a classically trained actor. At the end of the day, he is a rapper, and a lot of times if a movie has a rapper in it, the rapper is not the best actor, and that's kind of like a telltale sign, like, oh, this movie has a rapper in it, it's gonna be bad. But you already know, I said I liked the movie, and I feel like Machine Gun Kelly, I feel like he did a good job. I feel like he acted well, and I think his look and his attitude, like he was young when he did this. He was in his 20s. He's a musician. He kind of lives the lifestyle. His attitude and his look was absolutely perfect for this movie, and like I said, I think he did a good job. So some people might be skeptical, like, oh, there's a rapper in it, oh, it must suck, or I bet Machine Gun Kelly sucks. I thought he did a great job, and he's been in a bunch of other movies since this. So I mean, he's kind of proved himself. I want to see that Pete Davidson movie with him, Big Time Adolescence. I haven't seen that yet. It's got like John Cryer in it. It's got a bunch of people in it, but I want to see that. I like Pete Davidson, so and they're like Pete Davidson and Machine Gun Kelly are buddies in real life, so I bet they would have like good on-screen chemistry. So I definitely want to see that. I do like Machine Gun Kelly. I'm not like the biggest fan of his music, like his newer pop punk stuff I haven't really checked out, but I do like some of his older songs. I mean, Wild Boy with Waka Flocka Flame, that's like an absolute classic. I used to listen to that song on repeat. Like, that song absolutely rules. I love it. And then I don't know a ton of his songs, but he has this song with Chief Keef. I think it's called Young Man, and like Chief Keef has a verse, and he does like part of the chorus as well. I really like that song because I'm a big Chief Keef fan, so I do like some of Machine Gun Kelly's music. So yeah, just giving him a little shout out. And then I have just like a couple little random things left here in my notes that I'm just gonna go over. So there's this instance where Ross buys beer and he's underage. He's like a high schooler. He's, you know, 17 or 18 or something like that. He's under 21, and he just walks in, grabs a case, walks out. Like I think he pays for it, but he just walks out, and the gentleman at the counter is like, "Do you have ID?" He's like, "Yes." But then he doesn't show it. He's just like, "Yes, I do have ID." And then he just walks out. I thought that was gangster. All of his friends, they're like, how'd you get the beer? They didn't ask for your ID? He's like, "No, they asked for my ID." And it was just so smooth. He just like came through, got the case, walked out, didn't get in trouble. I really liked that. And then a little bit later on in the movie, they like pick up a hitchhiker, and this guy has just a copious amount of shrooms, and Ross takes them. He doesn't realize they're shrooms. He just thinks they're regular mushrooms, and he's just like tripping balls. But I really liked like the depiction of tripping in this movie, because a lot of movies, when it comes to like drug sequences, whether it's like a LSD sequence or whatever, they like go into this like crazy animation thing, and it's like so unrealistic. Like, you know, maybe for some people it's different, but when you're tripping, you're not, it's more like, it's not like you're seeing like dragons and stuff. Maybe if you took extreme amounts, but it's like, I feel like movies always like over exaggerate drugs, just because since it is like a visual medium, you know, like they want to make like a cool, you know, visually appealing sequence. But in this movie, when Ross is tripping, it's not like you see a bunch of crazy stuff on screen and you see it from his perspective. It's just like he gets really like introspective and stuff, and he gets kind of emotional, and he's like very happy, and just like every sensation is awesome. Like he chews a piece of gum and he's like, "This is the best thing ever," and he's like saying like, "I love you" to everyone, and he's like talking about like his identity and identities, and just getting real introspective. So I thought that was like a really like realistic depiction of tripping. So I really like that, because you don't see that in movies a lot. So that was super solid. I wanted to mention that. And then I wrote down Pabst Blue Ribbon, because these kids in the movie, they're sipping all kinds of drinks. They're turning up. They're getting effed up out here, which I'm all about that. I'm down for it. I like to see it, you know. I approve this message. So yeah, they're turning up. I mean, they're drinking and driving, which I don't approve that. I don't approve of that, but I do approve of turning up. But I'm going on a tangent here again. This video is probably extremely long. I don't know, because my camera doesn't have a timer. But I just like how like they're only drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon throughout the whole movie, because that's like one of the main beers that I drink. It's just like a really good, cheap beer. It's like 5% alcohol. It's a tasty treat. You could get like a 30-pack for like $20 or less. So I'm all about Pabst Blue Ribbon. I had a Pabst Blue Ribbon last night, so I don't know why I'm taking so much time in the review to just give a shout out to Pabst Blue Ribbon, but that's one of my favorite beers, and I like the fact that they were just drinking it the whole movie. So I don't know, it's my video. I just wanted to give a shout out to Pabst Blue Ribbon. So that's that, and that's the last thing I had in my notes. So that's kind of irrelevant, but what are you gonna do? I'm just on here, you know, having fun, so it is what it is. But anyways, now that I've talked about everything, I'm gonna give you all a quick recommendation, and then I'm gonna head out. So I'm telling you, if you're a fan of the first movie, I think this is worth watching. I think it was a solid sequel. Didn't have a big budget. It didn't have a big release, but it was a solid sequel. I enjoyed myself. There was some good comedy in there. I enjoyed the story. It had the same tone and feel as the original, but you know, they changed enough stuff to, you know, keep it fresh and make it its own thing. I liked seeing all the returning cast members, and it was cool to see kind of where they ended up in life. So if you're a fan of the original SLC Punk, I would say definitely check out the sequel. It's worth the watch. And I watched it on Tubi for free, so you can get it on Tubi. I think it's free on a ton of streaming services, so yeah, check it out. So yeah, now that I've given you all my recommendation and finished my review, I'm gonna head out here. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.